All right, so this is a video that wasn't actually going to be a video, but the terrain on this mission is something else. So let me lay out what's happening here. We are in a quad atlas 164 player, and we are not in a tropical zone, which means these spawns will likely be shifting. In a couple of my category 4 trap guides, we were in tropical zones, so I wasn't really able to demonstrate what to do when the spawns shift. You know, what happens when your traps are no longer being utilized and we have to build on the fly? How do we prep for that? How do we deal with it? But on top of that, I just wasn't feeling a recording today, but I'm inspired now because look at what's going on here. We have an entire slope just making a quarter of this atlas undefendable. I mean, we can build walls out to this north side, but look at this giant area of slopes. I'm already thinking tire traps might be a good idea here. Like, instead of building up this this floor, maybe ripping it apart, building tire traps, pushing into these wall darts would be good. We'll see. And it's exploding death bomb on top of that. That alone was like, all right, maybe an interesting defense. But as you can see over here, oops, we have the exact same problem. It's a little better because it's actually enclosed, which means zombies will most likely path around this. However, exploding death bomb means that any wall we put down is likely temporary. AWalry went oh my goodness, your name went ahead and what are you dropping? Decided to let all of her junk spoil right where I'm going to be trapping, but she ran a constructor, which could help. So what I'm thinking is pretty boring but effective solution, and that is that when all traps that we put down in these corner points are going to be either temporary and or potentially ineffective. Well, that's kind of the same thing. Temporary, ineffective. Yeah. So I was going to say ineffective because they might get exploded, but yeah, might be completely subverted. Defenders are really, really good because they are going to be up out of the way from the... That is not a defender pad. They are going to be up out of the way and immune to... well, immune to the death bomb. Maybe not at this height, but, you know, we just need to make sure that this floor never breaks. So let me see if I have any fire obliterators built. I do not. Let's craft a few of those and get them going. Hey, Walter, did you think right now is just like the perfect time to empty out the trash? What's going on there? Now she's all quiet on me. Okay. Alright. Let's get one defender down. The three of these should defend really, really well because another thing that I might not have been able to accurately show is that all of our atlases are really close to each other. Thank you, Tortoise, for the prime sub. All of them are really close to each other, and we got a floater. So these three defenders should mostly cover all of them. The one lower down on the ground is going to be, of course, a little bit further out of the way, but I think it's going to be mostly okay. So I know in a lot of my trap guides I've overbuilt quite a bit. By the way, trap tunnels video link down below. These trap guides have a playlist. Best perks for all the trap videos I've made link down below. All of those plugs out of the way. I try to build better safe than sorry. So if there are any inefficiencies, if any of my tunnels end up not getting utilized, I will try to make note of that. What's the plan here, Archer? What is all this wood?
I was just connecting things, but I kind of want to just spam drop traps.
Okay, so the floor you've built here does look like it has a ramp on it. Oh, this is going to be an interesting build. So I'm going to say before we even start, we're winging this chat. We're winging this YouTube chat as well. Like, this is going to be unlike many defenses, and that's kind of what I thought would make a good video out of this. Okay, so I'm going to remove this floor over here. If you want to set up some tire traps over there, you go for it. Whatever you think is going to be best. Your guess is as good as mine on a mission like this. I'll just try to showcase whatever you've done, and you can explain your thought process. I'm going to start on B, and usually, you guys in the video, I like to put a floor like as you see here, because it's usually good to just wall this off as well as you can, make a big box out of it like we did down here, and hope for the best. But as you can see, the terrain here is simply not going to allow that. We start to see actual spawn points too soon, and it's just kind of impossible to defend against. So I'm also seeing that there are spawns way off to the south side here where it's going to make defending this side pretty impossible. Death bomb's fairly annoying, but I just don't see how we're... Like, I can maybe push them off the edge, make them walk up this slope. I think that might be a good way to go. I'm going to upgrade these walls. The base is on there because I do know that wall launchers, 3 should be enough. In a later video, or in a previous video, in my Ride the Lightning video, I did a recycling build where we had spawn, like, seeing electric fields over the spawns, and I think I put like 5 or 6 wall launchers deep. That's overkill. I just kind of spammed it without thinking. It wasn't until I read the comments that people were flustered at how inefficient that was. I know, I'm sorry, Walry. It was just, I was just winging it, you know, as I do. I'm just trying to be casual here. So here's what I'm going to do. Connect this to the base, make sure everything's got a good foundation. I'm going to just push everything off the edge and then build a little bit out from here and try to zap them. So block that off just so that nothing gets flung on top. I think, make sure we got the right ceiling electric fields. The 91 stack is going to be my energy ones. Okay, I wish you could see that from that menu. 1, 2, 3, 4 ceiling electric fields. Get the rock out of the way. This should be mostly sufficient, and then we can go, let's see, 1, 2, this is the third tile up, that's the highest it's going to reach, facing backwards so that the tire traps push more effectively downwards. This might be overkill, by the way. I'm going to say this right now in case anybody wants to call me out. This is probably more than enough traps. 1 row of tire traps was probably sufficient, but I'm just being safe over sorry here. I think this is going to be more than enough, especially since it's covered by the base. It's a really good placement. Wall launchers pushing off the edge with ceiling electric fields and tire traps to handle them should be more than enough. No wall darts down here or anything should be necessary. All right, Archer, what do you got going on down here?
We're running out of brick. That's what I got going on.
Running out of brick. It is Death Bomb. Are you sure this is going to hold up?
Oh, these wood floors? Probably not. But the fully upgraded metal, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me focus on the northeast side while you keep up with that. This is where I removed this wall here. I'm going to put tire traps. So I'm going to overbuild here. Better safe than sorry. And I'm going to do a couple of things. So tire traps can reach from 3 tiles up. I am really losing FPS here. I'm not sure why. And because we have an entire open wall here and there's nothing we can do about it, I'm going to go a little crazy with the tire traps, and I'm going to try and push, oh man, I guess down towards the wall darts I think would be preferred. I don't know. And then up here, I'm going to try to face it so that, remember the directionality I mentioned in my previous videos, these will push more effectively at the opposite of where you're facing. So anything that gets hit by a tire trap here should be, even with the ramp, pushed towards the east. Any amount away is good, and that 3 tiles high allows the defenders room to see. I know that with the obliterators, they do have, you know, the capability to shoot through walls, but it's not that far of a range if they can't see. They can see, I think it's 8 tiles away. They can hear 4 tiles away, so this just gives them a lot more visibility. It might be 12 tiles. The exact distance is not anything I'm too concerned about right here. And out here, it's again like this is tough. It looks like we have no spawns directly towards the north, so let me just wall this off a little bit, making it so that anything that decides this path is going to be highly de-incentivized, and that'll push everything out here. I'm going to skip a little bit. I'm not going to put tons of tire traps, not on this exact part. Maybe wall darts would be a little overkill, but extra damage is nice. This will just shoot out into the area. And it's also important to remember that category 4 missions are very spread out, so I'm not going to need absolutely every trap I place. However, I do think maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 out here would be good. But because we have defenders, I'm very confident that they will pick up a lot of the slack. So this is overkill, likely, but should be pushing out towards here. Yeah, the little muzzle right there, that little squiggly bit, wherever that's pointing is where they'll be going. So yeah, let me just do one more right here just to be a little extra. Boom. All right, I should be done on the northeast side. Are you all wrapped up, Archer?
I'm trying to think of ways where they couldn't break it.
I'm gonna connect it to
without
the base.
without just, you know, spamming traps.
I think we're gonna be okay. Yeah, they're pretty spread out, and I never got my last blue glow, so let's get that start. Actually, you know what? Here, I misplaced. Oh no, I'm gonna do one more thing. I saw an exclamation point, and I want to get my challenge done. I don't love to do this during a video, but as I mentioned, I wasn't exactly planning for this to be a video. Oh my goodness, where is this thing? Can I just hit it with a bow? Save me some time. Oh, I gotta go track it down. Oh, you know what? I think this is a blockbuster quest line for a thing I have to actually search. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Well, might as well grab the ammo, right? I am running a totally rocking out bow build, by the way. I know people have wanted to know what our exact loadouts are. I don't know what Psycho's running. What do you got going on, Archer? You know? Hello? Am I lagging? Hey, Walry, can you hear me? I guess he just went AFK.
Yes, yes, I
I
can
don't know.
hear you. I just want to get muted.
All right, well,
What?
Archer will come back. Let's start this, and hopefully Archer was far enough along. So I'm most worried about his tunnel, but that's just because I didn't see what he put down. He looks to have utilized the ramp. He's got tire traps facing correct direction. He knows the stuff going on. A little bit of tar pit action, not a bad idea. I did not plan very well for smashers, and I'm going to admit that openly, but in my defense on this area, there's really not a lot of flat ground to work with. So looks like the defenders are absolutely taking care of it. They are focusing C more than I expected. Down here, the enemies are getting knocked back quite a bit, and the extra ceiling electric fields are zapping all that gets through. Those tire pits are working extremely effectively. In fact, I'm going to break that cactus just so they get pushed back even further and possibly into that pond out there. I want to break the rock as well. The lazy way to do it, but you know, let me just shoot with the bow over and over. There we go. That looks like it's going to be handled really, really well. All the enemies that were tracking towards C look like they got handled. Defenders are super powerful. Exploding death bomb must have broken my wall darts, but it looks like everything is just sort of slowly pathing out here. I have no problem just cleaning up whatever gets through. Chrome husks are being an issue, but that's kind of their job. Chrome husks aren't in the regular version of the game, only during Blockbuster, so not a big deal. I got another propane. I don't know who that might have been, but thank you, I think. Got my daily challenge done. This looks like it's perfectly fine. Wall darts are zapping everything far enough away to not get broken themselves. A Walrus base is keeping everything healthy. My recycling build is working fantastic, really. I mean, I mentioned it was overkill, and you're seeing it live. Those 3 wall launchers are probably going to hit everything that comes through. Another thing that I'm addressing, that I want to address, is that it is, of course, Category 4, which means while there are more areas to defend, it's usually less dense per spawning point. There aren't that many enemies to deal with, and yeah, that propane, I love it. A propane in an exploding death bomb mission is just incapable of doing anything. He's just going to get knocked around. If anything, he's just going to blow himself up, and it's not going to be a problem. All right, finally, alert, storm, changing directions. We can actually show what goes on when they shift. Ironically, okay, looks like we are heavy to the northwest. So, Archer apparently planned for this. A very, very not death bomb friendly mission, I will add, or defense. This is probably going to get shredded, so I'm just going to tear apart that. But what he's done here is he's taken that everything is going to be spawning out here. Wall launchers are pushing back to slow things down a little bit. And then they'll all be going into this corner and getting annihilated. I'm not sure if death bomb was taken into account for this corner, but it looks like it. Oh, thank you so much. Looks like it's going to be mostly fine. I'm going to play this one on defense and just only really worry about it if it ends up being necessary. Yeah, I think C is kind of going to be okay. As I always say in these videos, trap tunnels only really need to do 90% of the job. We can intervene and take part. See, like, look, my B defense over there and Archer's wall darts are taking care of almost everything. The only enemies that are going to walk up this slope are just going to get picked off by those ceiling electric fields up top or the defenders themselves. This C defense is really the last thing that will take any player intervention, and I am more than happy to, well, intervene. So, yeah, I don't always love cheesing missions, but Chrome husks are kind of annoying, and they can't hurt the objective, and they take up more of the spawn cap than a regular zombie, so leaving Chrome husks alive is kind of okay. Pretty much not even a problem. Yeah, looks like pretty much everything is spawning out to the south side now, and generally I'd recommend pulling up the map, but it looks like our traps are working fine. How well is this smasher dealt with? I'm kind of curious just to look at it from afar. Oh no, Archer's got it. Yeah, smasher went right through the tire traps, not a big deal. Landed on the base, didn't get very far because of, well, the base. And yeah, looks like he's gonna have to be dealt with manually, and that's completely fine. Me and the defenders easily took care of that, and it looks like this is going to be pretty straightforward on this side. I'll just keep an eye out for future smashers, repair the damage if necessary, and the storm is changing again. Are we going to have to deal with this north spawn? It looks like it. So, we got enemies coming straight for us. It's like the South Park episodes. And we have basically no traps out there. I do have a bit of a boundary here. and I think most of them are going to track towards C. And it's kind of like I mentioned earlier, we have enough traps for everything else that we're kind of good. Want to make sure that the defense here doesn't get broken, because then we lose the mission and have to repair it. Never fun, but should be honestly completely fine. There's a nurse out here causing problems, but anti-air traps are doing the deal. I know that in a trap guide it's good if I place all the traps, but I think you guys can kind of see what's going on. It's the basic concept I've been showing in my previous videos. Funneling occurred, Archer pushed everything to this corner. This was Archer Randy Walry. Am I showing your build here?
I didn't build that.
You didn't build that? Did Psycho build this? He must have built this. Well, either way, this is a great build in not a death bomb mission, but it didn't look like it was a problem until we had a higher concentration over here. I'm gonna double check every enemy's getting taken care of just fine. Looks like C isn't covered well, but that's because we put no traps down here. That said, everything else is covered so well that I don't think we need to trap it. And honestly, for the video, I don't know what I would do. Maybe some tire traps taking advantage of this slope would be really useful, but that'd be really expensive, and as you can see, it doesn't look like that's required. My team is more than capable of just using pot shots and shotguns to take care of this. Are you using the big shot?
Yeah.
I think its single target damage is comparable to the ground pounder.
I have a ground pounder in my hotbar too.
Yeah, but the big shot has bigger pierce, makes it better for crowd clearing. Either way, mini boss is dead. When you have people actually participating, it goes pretty well. Zeno, thank you for the bits. Kiriga, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. You know the trap defense is going well when I can talk to chat a little bit. Wow, this is pretty straightforward. It's kind of like I said 3 times already, or twice, that like Category 4 has a lot of directions you need to defend from, but that kind of just thins the enemies out. So you're not really, not really doing too much. Let me double check these traps. Yeah, this wall launcher, 2 of these never even fired. The first one grabbed every enemy that came out here. So if you're ever in a similar position, you guys, the one wall launcher is probably completely fine. These tire traps look like they got full use. That was less overkill than I thought. I would reckon only 2 of these ceiling electric fields might have been needed. But in our party, we're pretty well funded, so these ceiling electric fields up at the defense can be spammed like crazy. It's pretty easy to do that, but rarely actually necessary. Both of these tire traps never even fired. It never even became a problem. Archer ceiling electric fields over here were... I think most of these firings were just chrome husks. So like almost everything in this 2x3 area was just completely unnecessary. It looks like his wall darts and tire traps dealt with everything that the defenders didn't end up killing. Wow. So it's amazing how a Category 4 can look so expensive the way we've trapped it, but in retrospect, a good amount of what we placed didn't end up getting used. That said, the traps I just called unnecessary are now getting hit pretty hard as the enemies are up here, but they're really only getting hit because I took my focus off of this north defense, and, you know, defenders are nuts. I made a whole video about defenders because, as you can see, they are essentially an omnidirectional trap tunnel in their own right, and one of our defenders was dead for who knows how long. So, really clean defense, not too bad. Hopefully that gave you a little bit to think about. Next time you guys are dealing with annoying slopes, it's not that big of a deal. I wish I could have shown more of that northeast side. It looks like most of the tire traps I placed right next to the Atlas barely even fired, which ended up being really cool. That would have been a great defense if they were walking under there, but yeah, not too big of a deal. It's best to play, you know, a lot of people had very mean comments. I know by the time you're watching this, this was weeks ago by the time this will go up on YouTube, but I always want to say it's better safe than sorry. Farming is not that difficult in this game, and if you make a trip out of it, you know, watch a little YouTube video, pull up a stream on the side, farming is honestly kind of fun, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, but it's not too bad. I'd rather succeed in a mission spending more traps than I needed to than play it absolutely perfectly, but potentially barely scrape by. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments down below. Take it easy, and best of luck out there, yeah?